Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? The real question is, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line on crappy wrestling card content? Where do we draw the line on Iron Mike Sharp trading cards and why he doesn't have more? Where do we draw the line? That's the good question today. And that is, actually, I'll let Tony kick this off before I overstep my boundaries on this topic.
Well, welcome to
Where we draw the line on crappy wrestling card content.
That's right. Worlds Collide today, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're still around. Another week, another round. I guess I'm taking the introduction over, I guess, on this one.
Yeah, because this is one of the Tony shoots me the idea. I always have to preface that. And I was like, this is a great topic that is topical. Like, we've seen the wrestling card community talking about this. Yeah,
I mean, the topic came from just social media, scrolling through my feed and seeing some really incredible things out there that people are posting what they found from magazines or some sort of mail-ins or whatever they may be. Like, these are cool. But then it got me thinking about paper cards. Like, where do we draw the line when it comes to what we distinguish as a quote unquote, for those not seeing me, quote, trading cards and what are not trading cards? And it seems, especially during the pandemic, that became a real popular thing where people were trying to push the envelope as much as they possibly can to make something a hit because I have it. I want to push it. I want to make it something, and then I want to capitalize it, and then it'd be done. That's kind of what I felt about certain people out there were doing stuff like that. And I just makes me wonder, where do we draw a line? What is decided to be, what do we decide is a trading card and what isn't a trading card? And it doesn't help that we have old publications, and I'm going to talk specifically about magazines right now.
Sure.
We have old publications out there that will say, clip, cut, and save and trade with your friends, or literally say, cut, collectible trading cards, cut and trade kind of thing. So they even the magazines themselves take the pages of a magazine and say, cut them and trade them, and they call them trading cards. So then just someone who is an archivist, I have to archive information, and then people treat them as such. But it just seems to kind of go, where does it end? Like, I recently just discovered some Japanese magazines in my little in the box.
Tony's Capone vault.
Yeah. Which maybe Capone is in there. I don't know.
Possibly.
Could be Hoffa.
Could be.
But I'm going through it, and I find, and I'm here with Nick from Crazy Card Collector, who's been helping me out sorting some stuff here. And we're going through, and he looks at the magazine, I'm thumbing through, and he goes, "Hey, go back." He goes, "What was that?" And I go, look, and I go, "Huh?" Look at him. He looks at me, and I go, "Do we call those trading cards? Because they have borders around them. If I cut them out neatly, they're the exact same size as a trading card almost. They're almost 2.5 by 3.5. Using a translator on it's like that. It has bio information on it about that particular person on the side. I mean, where do we draw the line? I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to hear what people have to say. Like, I want anybody listening to this, I really want to hear and see some feedback about this episode about what do you consider trading cards or not. I mean, hell, even on WTC, we're now including stickers, and the stickers are now getting slabbed and treated as trading cards. I think we had that discovery a year plus ago, where someone like this pallets of 1997 stickers and found in Egypt. It's got Rocky Mayavia's first true rookie card.
Yeah.
Well, first off, it's not a card; it's a sticker. And so again, where do we draw the line?
Yeah, I don't know. We could go a million different directions. I think first off that we have to, I guess, distinguish that it makes it harder for you and everybody at the team working on WrestlingTradingCards.com. It makes it harder for you guys because if you're wrestlingtradingcards.com, where do you draw the line on that? I think that's because you're archiving information. Do you
And and
include
I've,
this?
I've had this discussion with Paul in the past too, because he doesn't archive stickers, and
Mhm.
we do. And I've always been a belief that I let the collectors out there, the feedback that people give us, they dictate that. If someone
Mhm.
wanted to go out and say, you know what, I think you need to archive stickers, they're treated as such, and they're collected just like trading cards. You know what? You provide the accurate information, and I'll be happy to add it to the website. But then it goes off, and then like Paul on his site from the Price Guide, Wrestling Card Price Guide. If you never checked it out, please go check it out. They archive Valentine's Day cards, playing cards. I'm talking, Ace of Spades, Eight of Diamond, that kind of stuff.
all kinds of all kinds of
Calendar
different
cards.
like hand cut trimmed stuff.
Yeah, calendar cards and I mean, do we include Pogs? Because Pogs are made of cardboard. Cardboard is trading cards. I mean,
If we're going to go that far, how about those poker chips that are collectible that have that?
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you start becoming in a gray area. It's like that. It's like, I saw someone like I remember Nick had mentioned that I have this Sabu 8x10, and it's like
Hmm.
really cool EWF or whatever promotion it was. The back of it is cool because it's an 8x10. The back of it has his entire title history up to that point, and in the front of it's a really cool. I wish I had it for this. I think I just sold it recently, but it's a really cool, colorful, 8x10 that someone online goes, oh, it's an oversized trading card.
That,
So does that
yeah.
make like all the P series promo photos that have been put out by WWE since the 80s? Do those become like trading cards because they're cardboard substance? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think we come from two different angles. So from my angle, I just like collectibles. Like
True.
I never, I've never been a big 8x10 guy. I've got the DiBiase one behind me. I think that may be the only one I own actually, and it's personalized to me. That's the only reason I still have it. But like when we start digging into this stuff, I absolutely love the Quaker Dips cards, and like I've
Good
never,
example.
yeah, the perfect example. They're hand trimmed. I don't know that it actually says trading card anywhere on the box because I've never actually seen a complete box. I've just seen the panel uncut that's on the back. I'm a huge fan of the LJN cards. Those are like, are they trading cards? It's got a little cut thing that's got a
Yep.
bio, but they're
Yep.
oversized. What are they? I've always loved the paper stuff that you talked about that's cut out of magazines. It's
Mm-hmm.
technically not a trading card, and they are usually oversized, but you can get them slabbed, you can get them authenticated, and so I don't know. Like it's harder
I
for
mean,
me because I just look at collectibles, as you can see behind me. Are
yeah,
we going to start grading these bowling balls from The Rock and Chris Jericho? Maybe. Does that mean no
maybe.
trading cards then? I don't know.
No, I mean, I get that's kind of silly. I
You
mean, I
never
get
know.
I get the grading aspect. I mean, no one's ever going to look at a bowling ball and call it a trading card. Come on.
Hey,
Um,
you never know. Some of these
uh,
people with their agendas.
I guess. But I mean, perfect example. Okay, it happens sitting right here. So I have these I found in the back, and they're like a stampas. So I have little stamps like that from
Stamps.
Mexico. The
Hmm.
stamps, but they get collected and treated as a trading card. They are of paper, stock. So how do we define these things? I mean, is it something that maybe that well, I don't know of really any other place else besides WTC that does such a wide variety of things. Do we start sectioning things off as do we have to break things as paper product type stuff? Do I have to section things off as regional? I mean, the old days of WTC, that's how it was. There was a major release stuff that was domestic, US,
Hmm.
coast to coast stuff. There was a regional release section. There was a food issued section. There was a Japanese section, and there was a sticker section. Oh, and a CCG, TCG section as well. I mean, and I just when we revamped the website, I just merged everything together and put it all like it's all collectible, it's all trading cardy. So just put it all together, and the search field just lets you search for anything you want. Anyways, do
Hmm.
I go? Do I have to go back and start breaking the damn website out again into sections like that again to make things easier? I don't know. It's like you kind of move away from being a wrestlingtradingcard.com website to just like wrestling collectibles. And I know there's a couple of
Sure.
places out there that are trying to archive everything wrestling. I had, I don't even care because the guy was such a schmo, having me try to, hey, can you just give me all of your information on your website and then you can be administrator to that section of my website over here? Like, no, I'm not going to give you over 20 plus
Yeah.
years of website development, over 35 years of collecting knowledge just to have it on your website. Well, we want to house everything under one roof. Well, then you go do the work.
Yeah.
Go for it. But I'm not giving you my stuff. I'm not going to just give it all to you. I mean, literally, he wanted me to give him everything, keep the website, but eventually we would just get rid of wrestlingtradingcards.com and it all go here. And you can be an administrator to this like that and monitor the stuff and maybe write articles about it once in a while. Like, oh,
No. Yeah.
not doing it. And so it just, for me, the line being drawn usually is, the line gets redrawn all the time, and it gets redrawn because that's what the collectors want, I guess. But for me as a collector, I'm obviously going to have my own opinions on what I see things. And, paper cards have always been sort of a gray area for me. Postcards have been a gray area for me. Hell, Chuckster the morning of we're recording this, sent me a message about something, some Undertaker postcard he had. He goes, do we have to archive this? It's a cardboard. I said, we're doing that. I've got a bunch of various advertisements for previous WrestleManias and, SummerSlam events and things like that came to the mail from when I was a Cox Cable subscriber back in the day, kind of stuff. Do we archive that as an ongoing Cox Cable series? I mean, I don't know. I mean, right now, no one's, claiming, hey, I need to be this. This has to be about, about trading cards. And I don't know, man. It's just, stickers are gray area for me too.
When you pulled the stamps up, it immediately made me think of something. When you look at like stamp collectors, okay, I don't think they're going out and getting trading cards that look like stamps, because those are out there. In fact, there's a new Disney set that has, they're like refractor looking stamps. I don't think they're going out there and saying, well, I'm going to consider these a stamp because it looks like a stamp. On the flip side, the hobby's been doing this for years. I remember when I was a kid, I would get the trading cards, air quotes, out of the inside of the cans that looked like skull, but it was actually shredded beef jerky. There was a whole series of those.
I remember that.
I was cutting the cards off boxes. I had the metal baseball coins, like the little thing. Those had numbers. They were collectibles. Yep. And it seems like the hobby, whether it's sports cards, non-sports, wrestling, like whatever, they categorize all of these things into what they do. And I think it's an interesting divide, because you're providing information on what is trading cards, and the rest of the hobby is looking at these things as, well, these are all what I collect. So where do you draw the line? Because I think, and again, I see it all the time with sports. Somebody like discovers some random food issue product from the 60s or whatever, and they do consider those part of their collection, part of their trading card collection. Or like Pogs. You mentioned Pogs. Like people, I'll see them include, a Michael Jordan Pogs set in with their Michael Jordan card collection. I don't know. Are we getting too technical? Like we have to be technical from your aspect, because you're archiving wrestling card information.
But it becomes hard for me, because when I start going down that rabbit hole looking for, some lucha type stuff, like just recently, last week, I was looking for some information about those lucha cards that I had, and they were cut out cards. And they were definitely cards. They're definitely card stock. And I went down that rabbit hole, and I started finding all this stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Of like, it was hard to differentiate because they were being referenced in the listings as cards, but they look like stamps because they're being affixed to a cardboard thing. And it was just, I don't know where to draw that line. And if people want those to say, you know what, I treat them like trading cards, or I'd like them to be archived someplace so I have information about them, I almost feel like it's our obligation now as WTC has grown over the years, that we have to start, maybe even taking a step over that line a little bit and saying, well, we're going to go ahead and archive it for you, because we know that there's a certain sector of people out there that treat these like trading cards. So we're going to go ahead and put them out there so that hopefully it helps you with either your grading process, or at least it provides information so you know what you have or what you came across. It's just hard for me. It's hard for me to distinguish what's supposed to be what. And I'm super curious from people, where do you draw the line? Are stickers cards for you? Are stamps cards for you? Are, postcards? Should all that stuff be archived? And again, if people want it and you have information on it, you can provide images, you can provide, how many are in the set, if it's numbered, if it's not numbered, all that stuff is important. Just sending like, hey, here, I got these 12 cards like that, and that's all you say. Like, I'm not going to archive that. I'm just sorry. I mean, but if you say, here's the 12 cards, I got them from here, they're numbered in the back, or they're not numbered in the back, but they have bio information. The more information you provide, the more I go, maybe I should put this on the website then and archive it. It's like that. I let the collectors dictate, I guess, but obviously we all have our own personal opinions.
Do you think it has something to do with the collector of the genre? So let's take baseball. Let's say they're a team collector and they go after, or they're a player collector, they go after everything. And do you think it's this issue where people just want more of what they like, regardless of whether it's the card or the style of collectible? You know, like
Maybe.
I know Gelman does it. I do it with Karrion Kross, and I know other people do it. They get to a point where they're like, okay, well, I've got the key cards, and yeah, I do need some others to fill the spots, but now I want to go after the, you know, limited 8x10 or the action figure signed or the, you know, rare.
Sure.
Maybe it's something like that, and they're not, some of these collectors who have zoned in on certain things, they just want more of what they like, so they start kind of going outside the box. Or maybe it's like you said to open up the show, somebody finds something, they create a narrative behind it because they want to make some money or they want to be the first to a product. So 100%. I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't know, it's interesting because we're, again, coming from two different angles, and I think we just, you know, from an archive perspective, I think you said it, I think we just need to hear from the collectors, from WTC. You know, what do you guys want archived as trading cards? Do you want Pogs? Do you want the what are those, the Comic Images put out the cards and the bears? Do you want the bears category as?
Well, I mean, the cards from the bears are obviously cards,
right?
But do the bears have to be? I mean, they're mentioned in the actual information section of where those cards came from, so there's actually a connection there because, you know, that's where the cards came from. So that needs to be sort of like, you know, conveyed to somebody like, hey, this is how you find them. But yeah, you're not going to I'm not going to make a checklist for the damn bears themselves.
You wouldn't think so, right? I agree.
I agree. So, but then now something like a WTC becomes more than just about wrestling trading cards. It becomes more about just wrestling collectibles as a whole. It's like that. And then what do? Do I start branching out into like someone who wants to do action figures, and someone else wants to handle 8x10s, and someone else wants to handle, you know, clothing. Somebody else wants to handle, like, you know, magazines. And I mean, it's never ending. I mean, the licensing rights over the decades have been, like, you know, in the thousands, and it's like, where do you stop? But, you know, from our niche of the wrestling collectibles world, you know, that's the whole premise of this episode, is that fine line of what constitutes as a trading card and what doesn't. Just because it's collectible doesn't make it a trading card. It just, what definitions do we have to apply to a trading? I mean, that needs to be done. Maybe someday we have to sit down, maybe with a board of experts. God, I hate that term. And go out there and have a group of people maybe can sit down and decide, like, let's put down a definition of what constitutes a trading card, you know, for the hobby.
And again, I think that is more of an important argument for an archivist like yourself that's providing a service of something where you're providing a technicality, as opposed to collectors who are just like, I'll take an 8x10, I'll take a figure, I'll take a card, I'll take a stamp. So it definitely more, and again, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, let Tony know. Any feedback, Tony? Do you want to kind of put that out there for everybody?
Yeah, anything. I'm interested. Like I said, I'm interested in hearing people's opinions on this. But if you have any questions, or maybe you have your definitions that you would like to try to say, well, this is how I define what I collect when it comes to cards and for my card collections, like that. Maybe you have information about stuff. Anytime you have information about any existing checklist that we already have, or you've discovered something that, you know, thinks needs to be archived, you know, please, you know, reach out to us. And you can reach out to us on wrestlingtradingcards.com, whether it just be from the website directly or any of our social media pages, which can be found at the bottom of every one of our pages on our website. You know, reach out to us. I mean, between Chuckster, Armand, Paul, and myself, you know, we go back and forth with different things. You know, we discover things on our own, share it with the team. We kind of go with it with each other, and then we kind of define, like, you know, I guess we probably need to make a checklist for that, and then we're going to add to the two websites, you know, for ourselves. And if I had the time, man, I mean, today with so much information out there on the internet, I mean, I love the research process. Let me be very clear. Let me be very, very clear about that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to researching stuff, I will out research most people every day of the week, twice on Sunday, because I've been doing it for so long. and I come across some incredible things that I have to bookmark or get the images for. Like, I got to come back to that later. That's pretty damn cool. I'm going to find more information about that. I love that process. I love the research process. So when we come across things, we try to bounce it off each other and try to have a definition of what, does this need to be archived? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I want to hear from people and want to know, what do you think needs to be added to the website? Do we need to break it down into categories? I really don't want to. It's a lot of work. But I can tag things. So if you want to use the search engine, type in Japan, you can find all the Japanese stuff. If you want to just find food issue stuff, just type in food or food issue, and I'll find it. I can do that. I can go back and tag everything. And I got a pretty good chunk of that done already. But I just want to hear from people, man. This is a very not touchy subject, but it's a very complicated subject for people. I think it's probably just as touchy and on par with the rookie talk, as far as like, trying to figure out what's real and what isn't real in the world of trading cards. So reach out, let me know, man.
Well, and this is a prime example. Let's say that somebody reaches out, and I'll say somebody, let's say 50 people send you a DM and say, Tony, those Coliseum home video bookmarks, those are trading cards.
Like, for example.
So if that many people reach out to you with that same argument, like, you got to do it, right? You would think,
right?
And that's kind of what we're approaching this as.
Yeah, and that's what's the beautiful thing about. We can archive it, putting the checklist together, and then in the information section, you can define things a little bit more, a little bit better. Like, these are not your typical trading cards layouts. They measure by this. Start giving all the definitions and the breakdown of what this particular release is. Will help a collector say, it doesn't really fit my general definition of a trading card. I don't want to collect that. Or at least it might end up helping PSA or Beckett or whoever and say, like, this is how we're going to, we're not going to grade this because it doesn't really fit our definition of trading card. Maybe I need to go to talk to those guys and find out what the hell their definition of trading cards are. But they seem to be taking anybody's money anyway, so it doesn't matter what the hell you send in. So
that's true.
True. There you go. That's an official spit of, wrestling WTC.
Encapsulated.
That's right.
All right. Well, I guess you plugged everything. Do you want to tell everybody again where they can find any of this stuff or get a hold of you just in case they missed it the first time?
WrestlingTradingCards.com. Just over 20 years, man. We're archiving every day. Right now, this next month coming up is kind of crunch time for me for some stuff I've got going on. So I'm not going to be doing as much updates as I can, but when I have time, I will do it. But I have a great team of people, man. The site wouldn't even be where it's at today without the Chuckster, without Paul, without Armand, and the people that go out there and submit information to us. Always, we wouldn't be where we're at. So we're here to benefit the hobby. All we ever want to do is educate and help inform people. We're no experts by any means, but collectively, as a community, as a group, we're here to serve the greater good of the hobby. And I think that we've been doing that for a long time, longer than anybody else out there. And we'd love to continue to keep doing that for people. So submit all your stuff. Let us know what you got out there. Let us, give us your feedback, and follow us on all across the social media platforms, man. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We want to get that wonderful 1,000 subscribers like Mr. Zhan over here and his wonderful channel, which you need to check out as well. So,
yeah. Speaking of that, you can find me on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. Please subscribe to that. Wrestling with Cards, the podcast, at Zhan Morning across pretty much all social platforms, and of course, right here on the world's crappiest information for wrestling card content. Worlds Collide. I've got to bury ourselves because, there's so many people out there that just take themselves so serious, and we're over here having fun talking about bookmarks and pogs, and that's what it's all about. It's just, having
fun, man.
Fun conversations about this stuff.
Yeah. If I got rid of everything else like that, I think the Worlds Collide podcasting is probably the only thing I would continue to keep doing. So I do the monthly recaps with Paul, and I love doing those, but time can become such a thing, and as well as anybody that we're limited on our time. So when we get time to actually do these episodes, it's a good thing. This would be the only one I'd probably continue to keep doing, just because it doesn't really fall all on me, to have to edit and all that stuff like that. But I'm just happy this is still going. So I'm hoping people get something out of this.
Yeah, if you enjoyed today's episode, first off, before you do anything else, if you have a strong opinion, send the DM to Tony, find the contact information on the WTC website. and let everybody on the team know, like, do you consider Pogs and bookmarks trading cards? Do you consider the paper stuff that PSA will still slab and still consider a cut auto or something? Like, do you consider those trading cards? Let those guys know at the team so they can continue to archive this stuff for you and everybody else that collects everything else out there.
Right.
So make sure to check that out, and then subscribe if you enjoyed this. Share it with a friend. Let everybody know about this podcast, about the YouTube channels, about just collectibles and wrestling cards in general. Leave us that Dave Meltzer 5-star review. If your system will allow you to do 6 to 10 stars, because even though we didn't record this in the Tokyo Dome, we would appreciate that higher star rating if you so choose, and if you physically can do that. So we're going to end this with all these collectible talk. Pogs rule, book cards, the bookmarks rule, 8x10s rule, postcards rule. But what rules the most, Tony?
Wrestling trading cards rule!
We'll see it.